Hi everyone. My client loved this dress, but she felt that because she was a little bit older, she wanted to cover her knees, and so she went to a fabric store and she bought some really nice soft chiffon, which was a close match. Although it's plain in colour, it's still a close match to the fabric, and she asked if I would extend it by about 5 inches. So for those of you who are metric, that's 12.5 centimetres. The first thing you want to do though when you're adding an extension like this, and this is going to be a gathered frill, is I feel that it's important to unpick the existing hem. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm unpicking the existing hem and then I'm going to iron it flat. Now if this was, say, lace that was just getting sewn over the top, you wouldn't have to necessarily do this. But because it's a gathered frill, I thought I should. The other thing that you want to do is once you iron it flat is, because she wants that 12.5 or 5 inches in extension, I've already lowered the hem a little bit, so I need to take that into consideration when I'm cutting the extension. And in this case there's 3/8 of an inch that it is now going to be dropped. So what I'm doing is I'm just working out how much I need to cut it, and I've got to take into account, of course, the hem allowance on the frill when I attach it back onto the garment, and I also need to take into account the hem at the bottom of the frill. Now I've decided that I'm going to create a rolled hem, and when I create a rolled hem there's a couple of things I do. I have the blade down and I place the edge of the fabric into the overlocker, and it takes about 1/4 of an inch of fabric to create the rolled hem. You metric guys, that's about 6.6 of a centimetre. I've also got a cutting board on my workbench, which is great because you can see there, because it's a chiffon and I can see through it, I can see exactly where to cut it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is create a French seam, but I need to work out what's the right side and the wrong side. And on the edge of your fabric you'll notice that there's kind of like some puncture marks, puncture holes, and generally the smooth side of the hole is the right side, and the bit that kind of pokes out a little bit on the other side, that's generally the wrong side. So what I've done is I've placed wrong sides together for the French seam, and then I've cut away the excess and cut as close as I can to the edge. You want to leave a little bit because you don't want that to unravel. Now I've ironed it flat, and then I'm going to just stitch it down, and there you go, I've stitched it down, and I'm going to repeat that with the rest of that piece. Now I decided that I wanted to do twice the length of the garment, so that's how much I cut. I was going to do 1.5 times the width of the dress, but then I felt that there wasn't enough gather in that, so I stuck with the 2 times. Now just a quick tip, when you're gathering something, do 2 rows of stitching instead of 1. Your first row will be against the raw edge, your second one will be just beside it, and to be honest I find it easier to gather from the right side, not the wrong side. I find that the thread pulls through quite easily. I did do a rolled hem on my overlocker to give it a really nice finish, particularly something like chiffon. You know, a rolled hem like you see on scarves and things like that, you know, that gives a really nice finish. But there's a couple of things that I do to make it quite neat, and that is I make sure that the fabric is cut to the width that I want, and then I lower the blade. So I do the rolled hem without the blade. Now I've changed the position of the camera just to show you that that 1/4 of an inch that you can see going into the machine, that is actually getting curled under into the rolled hem, and so that's taking away that 1/4 inch, or for you guys who are metric, it's 0.6 of a centimeter. Now you can see what that looks like. Without the blade you don't get those little cut off fluffy bits that show, and it looks really nice. If you wanted to be really extravagant, you could actually go over it a second time with the blade down and you'll get a thicker rolled hem. So there's the finished product. Even though the fabric is not the same, it looks like it was always meant to be. Happy altering!